They said I have days or they find me.
At 95, they're still doing that to you?
I tried, I just couldn't keep up.
You shouldn't face this alone.
My insurance used to help. Now it's gone.
Then we fix it before that deadline.
The first thing I noticed was not how overgrown the yard was, but how no one had stopped to take care of it, even though it was clear someone was still living there, quietly holding on inside. The house sat in a modest neighborhood in Augusta, Georgia. Its driveway cracked and stained, the grass uneven and creeping higher along the edges, weeds pushing through every gap like time had slowly taken over without resistance. Leaves and debris had built up along the curb, and the yard looked like it had been left behind. The kind of place people pass by without asking questions, because it is easier to assume no one is there anymore. But someone was. Her name was Ida Monroe, 95 years old, a retired pharmacist who had once spent decades helping people understand their medications, guiding them through illness with calm, patience, and steady hands. Now those same hands trembled as she gripped a metal walker, her body thin and fragile, her steps slow and careful, as if every movement required effort. She lived alone in that house, and while the world outside kept moving, her life had become smaller, quieter, and harder to manage. The problem was not just the yard, it was everything that came with it. Her insurance situation had recently changed. She had lost access to the assistance programs that used to help maintain her home. There was a deadline notice placed on her property, warning that if the yard was not cleared soon, she could face penalties she had no way of paying on her fixed income. But she never called anyone, and she never complained. People like Ida carried a quiet dignity, the kind that refuses to ask for help even when help is needed the most. She told me later she did not want to be a burden. She had handled her own life for 95 years and did not want to start asking strangers now. When I saw her standing near the doorway, leaning forward on that walker, watching the yard like it was something slipping out of her control, I understood that this was not just about grass or weeds. It was about losing the ability to keep up with the life she had once managed so well. I asked if I could help, and she hesitated for a moment. Not because she did not want the help, but because accepting it felt like admitting something she had been trying to ignore. She said she had been praying quietly every night, asking God for a way through the situation before the deadline came, but she never expected someone to actually stop. As I began clearing the edges of the driveway and cutting through the overgrowth, the sound of the trimmer echoing through the yard. She stood there watching, holding onto her walker a little tighter, her expression slowly softening. She told me that the hardest part of getting old is not the pain or the weakness. It is feeling like the world has stopped noticing you are still here. But maybe, she said, God still sees, even when people do not. In standing there, watching that yard slowly come back to life, I realized something. If you had seen this house and knew someone like her was still inside, would you have stopped, or would you have walked past like everyone else? And do you believe that God still sees the quiet lives that others forget? If you believe kindness still matters, take a moment to like, share, and leave a comment below.